I was telling the guys at the back, we did everything by rote. By rote is not the same as by heart. They mean the same thing. By rote, we had to learn everything off. By heart means you learn it because you love it. So we did Shakespeare, Julius Caesar, and we learned all the speeches bit by bit by bit. I can still do some of the speeches. Be not deceived if I have veiled my look. I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Vexed am I of rage with passions of etc., etc.
Here is a friar that trembles
some difference. Conceptions only proper to my own, which gives some. Oh, forget the rest. It goes like that anyway. So that when we did get to the exam, and the question was, when the ghost of Caesar appears to Brutus on the plains of Philippi, and I go, what? Caesar's dead? Because we hadn't got that far, because that's how we learned. One of the first poems I learned when I was small, my dad also learned in about, I don't know, 1925. He was a little schoolboy, bare feet, down in Cork, and he learned this poem. And then he taught it to me. I was dyslexic, I still am dyslexic. My dyslexia is lovely. I have a wonderful time with my dyslexia, except that I look dumb. I can't read. It takes me ages to read, and it took me ages to read when I was small. But I learned myself by just reading and reading and reading and reading. So my book, the best book I ever had was my dad. So my dad used to tell me all these things. But if you're Irish, they don't go, now son, here's a poem. Let's do poems. Poems just come in and out and flow through you like that. So my sister, 7, I'm in a big armchair up in our room in 31 O'Higgins Road, which doesn't even exist, it's all gone, you just walk through empty air. But that was the first time I remember a poem. And Junie is telling me a poem, and the only text is her breath. And she goes, come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild. And the storm outside goes, and the thunder and lightning goes, and I go, bloody hell, is that what poetry does? And I just expected thunder and lightning all the time after that, but it didn't happen like that. The other thing I remember is my dad. My dad came in from the garden, he had a string vest on, it was 1963 or something like that. And he was all, he had a flock of potatoes in his arms, and he was bringing them in tenderly like little chicks. And they were all muddy, of course, because they weren't from the supermarket, out of the ground. And he brushed his forehead like that, leaving a streak of dirt across there. And then he did that, and he ended up looking like a Red Indian or something, or walking. And he said to me, and I always remember this, and I never forgot it. He said, oh, Johnny, son, and I go, yeah, Dad? He said, I remember. Do you, Dad? What? The house where I was born. Really? What was it like? The little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. It never came a wink too soon or brought you long a day. But now I often wish the night I'd pulled my breath away. And Thomas Hood's I remember, of course. So the first thing that poetry ever did for me was that we went to school, and nice Mrs. Costello, who I really fancied, I was doing reminiscing on the wireless, the first show, and I didn't realise that all my primary teachers were listening. And I was talking about Mrs. Costello, and one time I got weak, and I fell on the ground, and she picked me up, and it was the era of miniskirts and all that. So suddenly I'm looking up Mrs. Costello's legs, she had lovely long legs all together. And I'm telling this story on the radio, and all the teachers are listening to it, they're all ribbing her, going, I was real embarrassed altogether. But it was Mrs. Costello, and she said, okay boys, anybody, we're going to learn this poem, and the first boy to learn it off by heart can go home. And I remember, so I just got up and go, hey, I remember the house where I was born, I'm out of here. That was the first thing that poetry ever did for me. It gave me a free day of school. So this poem is for my dad. It's called I Remember by Thomas Hood. I remember the house where I was born. The little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. It never came a wink too soon or brought too long a day. Now I often wish the night had borne my breath away. I remember the roses red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light, the lilacs where the robin built and where my brother sat, The Burnham on his birthday, the tree is living yet. I remember where I was used to swing, and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. My spirit flew in feathers then that is so heavy now, and summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. I remember, the fir trees dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance, but now 'tis little joy to know I'm farther off from heaven than when I was a boy. Thank you. That's my dad, Danny Dempsey.